2018, I went to Iraq. For the most part, it wasn't all that bad. Most days were pretty boring, but the locals were friendly enough. And generally, we were pretty safe. Most of the time. It was here that I met a mysterious silver-haired Australian named Chris. He asked me, "Do you like riddles?" And then he proceeded to tell me about one that he thought he'd solved. It had to do with this guy, Forrest Fenn. His claim he had hid a $2 million treasure chest in the Rocky Mountains. The only clues were encoded in a poem he'd put in his memoir. Chris told me the treasure had to be in the mountains of Montana, and giving me the location, we made a deal. I go to his proposed spot, we split the treasure 50-50.
This is me attempting to do this hike. Let's go see what we can find.
Hiking 8,000 feet above sea level by myself in the middle of nowhere seemed pretty reasonable to me. This is how my friends thought it would go.
Oh, you were gonna die. There was an 80% chance that you were gonna die. The other 20% chance is that you maybe find it and just disappear. Either way, like, I was never gonna see James Fedora do ever again.
So you're probably wondering, what kind of person does something like this? Part of me feel like folks I grew up with made me question and doubt myself sometimes. Despite a relatively normal, healthy childhood, I kinda hit an awkward growth spurt that made me look out of shape and uncomfortable with myself. Middle school kids usually sounded like this to me.
Look at this. Look at this. This is one of like 15. Obnoxious. Oh God, you're the worst.
I had a thing for Hawaiian shirts. But eventually I fell into normal. Sort of. In college, I started to find a lot of what I'd been looking for. I got chances to perform, learned how to party, and even held down a cool summer job. Starting out as a young adult, kinda ruled. I came to realize I didn't like being boxed in or being told who or what I should be. Growing up, I used to dream of becoming an actor. With no stage, I tried enjoying as many interests as I could, as authentically as I could. Drastic change and learning new things always felt really comfortable to me. However,
Surprise. Surprise. More uphill. More pain.
I dropped out of college because of the recession, and I moved back home. I really felt like I lost myself. With no degree, no car, and no real future, I got desperate and did what desperate people do.
Hey, it's me again. I want to show you something. So, can I flip this around? This little fucking peak here, I gotta go up it still. And then, hopefully then, I get to the area where the lakes level out.
Some of my closest friends told me I wouldn't make it through basic training. Others just thought I was crazy, and frankly, I kinda was. But it was the best decision I could have made for myself, and I feel like I learned who I really was and what I could accomplish by the end of it. Unfortunately, the Army also ended up reinforcing some bad habits at the same time. That's not juice in that bottle, and this day probably ended up looking something like this. However, I did learn a lot and see some beautiful things along the way. I also learned how to read a map and navigate rugged territory.
I can see it dead ahead. See the tree, see the island. Nothing apparent. That being said, there's about a good, foot and a half of snow. Cover most of that motherfucker. So, if I can make it back to town in time, getting a shovel. The only good way to see the entire ground is dig that snow up. Dry run complete. So that took decent chunk of time, about 5 hours. That's actually about what I expected, so it's not too bad. Yeah, checked out the island, nothing there so far, but I had a feeling that there's a lot under that snow. Oh man, I'm so exhausted, it's hard to even think about tomorrow. But yeah, good day, man. Okay, on the trail, day 2, full run, equipped with shovel, going up this nonsense of a trail. Guess what? Still all uphill. Still as long as it was yesterday. And I'm still here. Fantastic. Okay. But like, seriously, look at this thing. It's uphill. Slow grind. This is actually some of the less steep sections. Well, look. The illusion of flat. Oh, lovely.
By the time I'd left the army, I felt like I'd lived several lives already. Kind of made making new friends sound a little like this.
Okay, well, he looks different, and and she goes, that's a different person. That's a different person. That's not the same fucking person. This guy looks like he's an emo boy with the hat on, and this one looks like a fucking, like a military dude, and then this guy looks like a, you know, frat boy. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's like playing a guitar in one picture, and he's like a totally different person from head to toe every single picture.
By the time I got to Montana, I already had all the tools I needed. I just had to see what I could find.
Well, this is the island. And this is my handiwork with a tiny little shovel. See over there. I spent a solid hour here. Went through every bit of high ground. Smacked through all the softer snow, most of which is unturned, striking on top of water. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty disappointed. It's frustrating. Made so much damn sense. Don't know why it's not here. Dug in on hands and knees over here, under every single tree, tapped into the roots as much as I could, hit a bunch of rocks like that bad boy. Extremely misleading, but I know I can honestly say I made my best effort here. And I've officially attempted to search for the treasure of Forest Fen. My tools are cold. Let's go home.
In the spring of 2020, almost 18 months after I'd completed my hunt, someone finally found the treasure of Forest Fen in an undisclosed part of Wyoming. Fenn himself confirmed the find and met the lucky hunter to personally congratulate him. As if finally at peace, Fenn passed away that very same summer after it had been found. All told, an estimated 350,000 people searched in earnest for the hidden treasure, including myself. In interviews, Fenn often explained how he hoped that treasure hunters made the most of their journey regardless of the result. More than anything, the long-time outdoorsman really just wanted people to find their own adventure.
Oh, I made it back to the truck. Isn't that nice? Cool, well, I have completed my treasure hunt. Did not find treasure, but I did complete the hunt. I'm good with that. Because I'll tell you what, I am tired, I am achy, but I am genuinely satisfied with the effort that I put out. And as funny as it is, half the people who saw me walking around my hiking gear, I looked like an asshole because I was over prepared. But it's fine, because guess what, motherfuckers? I didn't die. I made it up and down a very challenging trail during not optimal conditions to do so, and surprise. Now, I am going to go and get in this car, put on some dry clothes, and go to my room. I'm gonna go shower, and then I think I'm gonna get drunk. It's a little bit, reasonably. I'm not driving anywhere. Everything's walking distance from this town. At least it's got that going for it. Well, I did the thing. I tried. Okay.
Day, the way I describe you now to those people is my friend James, the one that looks like 40 guys. And they always go, oh yeah, that guy. I know what you're talking about.